Hello everyone and welcome to our garden. We're now about the half of September and I would like to show you how our garden looks like now at the end of the first growing season. Follow me. This is now my favorite corner of the garden. It's full of flowers. We have dahlias here, we have marigolds, we have sunflowers, we have zinnias, and it's very beautiful. It's very colorful. It's lovely to see from the window of the kitchen and also from the street side. And it's always full of butterflies and bees, and it's very much alive with a lot of color, and I really like it. This bed was hard to take care of because the weeds would grow like crazy here, so I would have to pull them a lot, almost every 2 weeks for it to look nice. So next year I want to see for a way for me to have a little bit less work to have something as nice as this. Probably I will just look into wood chips, but I will have to see because wood chips can be expensive, so I will have to see how I get my hands on it. I did an experiment this year with wood chips. In the vegetable garden, I first put a plastic woven wheat carpet with wood chips on top because it looks nicer and it adds an extra barrier against the evaporation of the water in the soil. And then under the roses, I put just wood chips as it is. And the remarkable discovery is that the added carpet under the vegetable garden didn't really reduce the weeds more than just wood chips alone. It made it harder to pull the weeds away though, because the roots they would get entangled with the weave of the carpet. So wood chips in general really reduce the weeds a lot. It would cut down a weeding session of about an hour down to 15 minutes. And it also helped keeping moisture in the soil and protecting it from drying out in the sun. So adding this really improved the health of my soil. When it comes to this garden bed, next year I will put the same flowers here. I'm so happy with how it looks now. I have zinnias, marigolds, sunflowers, and dahlias. And these flowers have been blooming from June until now. And they will keep on going until the end of October, when the nights get too cold. And this is how our vegetable garden looks like now. As you can see, it went through quite a transformation. Since it's the end of the growing season, I removed almost all of the vegetables that were growing here. I left some tomato plants that were still producing, and I still harvest a few tomatoes out of them every now and then. And I also decided to leave one zucchini plant to see. It has some small fruits. I don't know if the plant really wants to grow them so we can actually eat them. So that's more as a trial than anything. I don't expect to get a lot out of it, but every little bit is, of course, very nice. And as you can see, the marigolds, they grew very big and they're super beautiful now. They're really the focal point of the garden with their beautiful bright orange-red colors. For the rest, I planted some vegetables that are also resistant to the fresher weather of the fall. I have some finocchio here, fennel. I have some celery over there, and I have sown some radishes. About the radishes, I actually was very excited to sow them. I brought the seeds back in the spring, but back then I didn't have time to do it. Because I was fantasizing of baking them together with potatoes. So let's see how they grow. But for now, they seem to be growing very well. I have sown them in a layer of compost, and after 2 or 3 days, I could already see the first little sprouts. By now, 5 days passed, and they already look very strong and big, the plants. I will have to thin them out a bit, with pain in my heart, of course, because it's a bit hard to pull out plants that you've sown. But otherwise, the radish, the actual part that you eat, will not have enough space to grow big and nice. So yeah. strong wind comes, and before you know, it starts raining. But luckily enough, I managed to pick some beautiful flowers out of the garden, and I will be putting these in a vase while I will talk to you about the rest that I wanted to tell about the garden. So, as I've said before, this year was going to be a trial year, a year where I wanted to see what I could do with my hands, how everything would grow in this climate, and yeah, I wanted to try things out, see how it would go, see how I would like it, how much work everything would be. I'm happy with how this year went. I learned a lot, I have to say. And I also learned that I can grow stuff, which is nice. So, I was cut short a little bit in my garden tour. Talking about the storm, we had a big storm at the end of July. Before that, we had everything growing very well in the vegetable garden. What did we have? We had zucchini, we had tomatoes, and we had 3 varieties of cucumber. And I was harvesting a lot of it. For a month or a bit more, we've been living mainly off of those vegetables. We ate very rich salads almost every day, because when it's warm, you don't really feel like eating a lot of hot meals. So I would just make very rich salads, also with the herbs that I had, like basil and parsley. So yeah, we've been harvesting a lot. I was living the good farmer life, enjoying myself. And then the storm came, and there was not much that we could do. Yeah, we heard that there was going to be hail. When we arrived home, we had just enough time to put our car away and to cover it with blankets. And then the wind came, and it started. So we just had to let it happen. By the strength of the storm, I knew that the garden was destroyed by the first wind. And a lot of things fell and was broken. A lot of plants were broken. Although the garden held up better than I thought it would. But then the storm passed the second time. And this time it had a lot of hail that came down. And that was around 11 in the evening. And then the storm started again at 6 in the morning. And that last time, it really destroyed everything. It made mulch out of our plants. Some of the flowers hold up well, and they also came back very well. But for example, the zucchini plants, all the leaves and the fruits were completely destroyed. The tomato plants were completely stripped off of their leaves and their fruits. Even the small green fruits and the little flowers that were going to become fruits, all of those I found back scattered over the ground. And it were just empty stems. Also, the cucumbers were destroyed, and it was a sad thing. And I left it like that a little for a week or something, because I was very disappointed by it. It's life, it's nature. That's what it is like to garden. But it takes a bit to collect courage again to fix everything up and to keep on going when something that's so beautiful got destroyed in such a way. So yeah, I tried to fix things. I did some experiments on cracked stems, and I tried to nurse everything back to health. Some things reacted better than others, but especially our tomato harvest has been affected a lot by it, because all the fruits were stripped off the stems, so I had to wait until they start making new flowers. And also our peach trees were taken very badly by this. I think we lost about 90% of our fruits. Yeah, they were not ripe yet, they were green and hard, and they all got hailed out of the trees. So I collected them, and I think it was about 10 kilograms or something that I had to throw on the compost. And then the remaining ones, they were so badly damaged that during them growing a bit thicker, they would fall out of the tree anyway, and they were not edible anymore. So that's what that was. I'm sad it happened, but it can happen again, and that's part of life. That's part of gardening. Like, you make mistakes yourself. Nature works against you. That's just how things go. And yeah, now I made a fall garden with radishes, with fennel and celery. I took these ones because it are vegetables of which I know that we eat them. That's mainly why you plant something, right? Because a fall garden could also have vegetables out of the cabbage family, but that gives us a little bit of trouble with our digestion. So for the few times that we do eat it, I prefer to just buy it from the shop than having to finish all the plants that are growing in your garden. This fall garden I planted in compost that I made myself, and I was happy to see that everything grows very well. So my compost technique is working, which encourages me to keep on going and to make even more compost, because yeah, it's waste that you have anyway, and you get free ground out of it, and you can improve your soil. So I'm happy with that. So a thing that I've been doing this year is experiment with making my own liquid fertilizer, because I prefer to take the natural route in everything, and because then you just know what's in there. That's basically the thing. Then I know what's in there. It doesn't cost me anything. It costs me the labor that I put into it. And yeah, how I've been doing it is we have a little rabbit. I've been taking her poop and I've been soaking it in a bottle of water for a few days until the poop starts dissolving, and I shake the bottle every now and then until it dissolves even better, and then that's my liquid fertilizer, and I give that to the plants. Rabbit manure is one of the few manures of animals that you can put directly onto plants without it having to compost before you put it on there, because other animal manures, they would burn the roots of your plants if you would put them directly, because they are too full of nitrogen. I'll correct myself if I said it wrong. This bouquet is ready. Look at this. Beautiful. I don't know yet how effective my liquid fertilizer is. I would actually have to see for a little bit longer, but for now, at least it doesn't seem to damage the plants, and the plants seem to be growing well. If someone has some more experiences in this, they can always let me know about what I'm doing, if that's a good thing or not. But I will keep on experimenting with it, and I will come back to you with some more information once I have this. In the vegetable garden, I also have been experimenting a bit. One of the things that I noticed with the fall vegetables that I planted now was that the snails started coming back in the garden. During the summer, they were gone for a while because it was too warm, I think. And now that the nights are getting fresher again and there's more rain, I saw that the snails are coming back. What I did to protect my vegetables, but I actually don't know if it works, it's just an experiment, is I threw some dried laurel leaves around them. We have a laurel bush, and I cut it a bit of this year, and I took the leaves and I dried them in order to use them in soups. But we have so much of it that I never will be able to use all of it. So I decided to give this a try. Since laurel leaves, they have a very strong smell, and I thought that maybe it could work as a repellent against snails. But I don't know if it works. And also, if you use something like this, of course, the snails will go to another plant to eat that. But I really wanted to see if, like this, I could protect our vegetables. Another thing that I tried is something that you see here are these cans that I put on a stick. The reason why I did this is because we have a lot of cats that pass by our garden, and they tend to dig around, especially if the soil is unworked and has nothing in it. So I put the cans on the sticks around it, because I heard that cats don't like reflection of light. Yeah, cans are a bit reflective. I thought maybe it would work. So far, they didn't scratch anything. I don't know if it's because of the cans or if it is because the cats just didn't pass by. But these are things that I just have to keep on trying to see whether it's effective or not. Only time will be able to tell. So yeah, overall, I'm very happy with how this year went. I learned a lot. We had a lot of fun eating the vegetables from our own garden and looking at all the beautiful flowers, making bouquets, and looking at everything being beautiful and alive. My plan for next year is to make the main garden bed where the vegetables grow a bit longer so I can grow an extra variety. I don't know yet what I will grow. It might be peppers, it might be eggplant. I have no idea yet. I will see. Whatever sparks my enthusiasm next year. And for the rest, I will try to look into having wood chips to put on the flower borders so that I can keep the weeds in check. But for the rest, I like to stick to the flowers that I have because I really enjoy them. They seem to do well in this warm climate, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of them. Also, on the other side of the house, where we have this wall that takes the south sun for a full day, the flowers have been growing very well. They became very big. They make a lot of flowers. Nothing got burned, and since the flowers grow so big and bushy, the ground actually stayed much more moist during the year and dried out less. And yeah, so that's a good improvement. So yeah, overall, I'm very happy with how everything went, how everything grew, and I can't wait for next year. Although now I'm looking forward to resting a little bit and working a bit more on things inside the house instead of outside of the house. Let's go and give this to the rabbit. She will be very happy eating it. I want to thank you for watching this video. Probably you will see me talking about my garden again in the next year. Have a lovely day.